Hey guys, Cdrama Invasion here. Welcome back to a new video. And this month has been kind of slower for C-dramas, but I've been enjoying a lot more K-dramas. The only drama that I'm really keeping up to right now is Love Like the Galaxy in terms of C-dramas. But let's just jump on into it and talk about that. So let's start off with a fun fact. And I thought it was very fascinating and interesting because the author of the novel first wrote Love Like the Galaxy, and while she was writing this, she was watching Zhao Lusi's drama Love Better Than Immortality. So it's so interesting that she commented before, somebody digged it up and it said, it's a small budget drama and not quite known of an actress, but it's very good to watch. The female lead's face is so round and adorable. Flash forward a couple of later, here she is, and Zhao Lusi is starring in her drama adaptation. How cool is that? And how funny is it that destiny will have them working together? I feel like this author low-key manifested it. Now on to my first impressions. First off, I would like to say that this is a role that I've been dying to see for the male lead. I felt like after seeing him in a couple of dramas, he just has this perfect facial feature, especially now that he's grown a little bit into this charismatic type of general character. I really enjoyed him in some of his older works, and I do prefer his costume dramas. He just has this gaze that's pretty piercing, and it's very striking, and it really works with his character, though we haven't seen too much of him in the first 12 episodes or so. So I never read any of these original novels, but I do some research for a couple of these videos. And for this one, apparently it is meant to be slower, and it's actually quite accurate compared to the book and the novel. So a lot of Weibo users and novel fans praise this drama for being pretty accurate, and they even put little Easter eggs and tidbits in the opening scenes, of the animation, etc. And the pacing and stuff is quite relatively accurate to the story, where the male lead, Ling Bu-yi, doesn't really have a lot of scenes until later on. If you go into this one thinking that it's going to be something like Who Rules the World, it definitely isn't. And from the trailer, I feel like with trailers, one thing is they can really try to set you up for all these interesting things, and you're kind of looking forward to them, which is great. But a lot of times it is slower than that, and it makes sense that they're going to put all the romance scenes, all the dramatic scenes, and crazy plots, etc. in the trailer to make it exciting. But I think that if you go into it thinking that it's going to be exactly what the trailer gives you from the beginning, it's definitely not the case. This is definitely a slower paced story, and it's the development of the female lead into her own character and her insecurities as well. You see her dynamics with the family, the chaos, and all these things, her abandonment mommy issues, really plays into her personality. And I truly appreciate that we're taking the time to care about these characters, because without a doubt, I think that one, it will be very pertinent to the story later on, or the female lead will change and grow because of it. This drama is very cinematic. It's very high budget. Though the clothing may look simplistic, it suits the genre, and these close-ups that I get, there's not a crazy filter over it, so it's not too dark and washed out where the people look really old and grimy. It's not that type of drama, but it's not crazy bright and saturated as well. So I appreciate that it's not crazy dim-lidded, nor is it really contrasted, or they try to wash out the characters too much, making them look as pale as a ghost. As it's airing, we get some new information about it, which are some tidbits that I add in some of my C-drama updates videos. And one of them is that the lantern scene took them 3 days to film and over $100,000 to make. So everything filled of that lanterns, the streets, the costumes, the organization into these stalls, and everything that we saw basically took so much money and effort. And they specifically were searching for a material for that tea house restaurant place to burn up, because they were told that they cannot light anything on fire inside the studios for fire hazard reasons. So they had to find a place to rent out, build a entire street and huge structure of building that would be flammable, but at the same time actually look sturdy and feel sturdy enough to have people act and use it as a set, etc. So I thought that was super cool. In terms of personality and characteristics, the female lead is someone that is smart, and she stands up for herself in a way that doesn't feel obnoxious or loud. There is some elegance to it, but at the same time, she's playful and she's very young. She's a sweet, kind girl at heart, but she's a little bit playful, a little bit rebellious, just because she has some abandonment issues. Thank goodness for her two brothers that are always jumping on her side. It's super refreshing to see somebody in her corner. This is definitely one of those dramas where there's a lot of scheming, etc. in the house shenanigans right at this point. I'm sure we're going to get into political stuff. And if you're not into slow burn romances, then I don't know, maybe either skip this one or wait until it's like halfway done. Maybe the first part is done, then binge that part altogether, so it won't be that slow. But for me, I'm having fun with it. I'm just going along with it. I have other dramas that I'm super interested in right now that aren't slow burn, so it's fine for me. But yes, they do draw out the leads meeting each other like from eye to eye. There's moments where they like walk past each other or do that typical thing where like one person looks and the other person is like leaving already. So I get it if you're like a fan of them or you're not a fan of them and you're just here for the story, and it's kind of frustrating. But for the most part, I don't hate it. And it's kind of fun to see the male lead, who is this like very stern type of character. Just his gaze, the way he looks at her, he just looks at her with like these soft whipped eyes, and he's basically so in love already. Although I said all these great things, like enjoyment wise, if I'm honest, right now I'm just watching two of like the best K-dramas that have ever aired: Alchemy of Souls and Extraordinary Attorney Woo, which I'll talk about in a minute. Those are just so refreshing and so on point every single minute, where my eyes are basically glued to the screen. And unfortunately with this drama, my personal thoughts are, even though I appreciate and nothing is really wrong with it for sure, it's just not as intriguing or addictive as the other dramas I'm watching. Just because not much really happened so far, but I'm sure in part 2 I'll probably be bumping up the rating, but for now it's sitting at like a 7.5, maybe a 7 for me. Last but not least, we are talking about Extraordinary Attorney Woo, and this drama literally made me cry from the first episode because of how wholesome and how great the writing and the character is. So from episode 1, I didn't really know what to expect, but I ended up loving every single second of this drama. I did hear things about it, great things about it, but I'm honestly not a law fan, and I just read up the synopsis and I was like, okay, there's only like 4 episodes out, so let me watch it since it's on Netflix anyways. And oh my gosh, I cannot believe how great this drama is. Absolutely obsessed with it. I really love the characters for this drama. What a beautiful drama. It's filled with court cases, but we're seeing it through the eyes of the female lead with autism and how she views the world. It's such a joy to see, and thank goodness for representation. We really do need more dramas depicting various types of people. Autism, or autism spectrum disorder, refers to a broad range of conditions characterized by challenges with social skills, repetitive behaviors, speech, and nonverbal communication. So I don't know exactly how accurate it is, but most people that are commenting with friends or family members that has autism would review early on and said that it's portrayed with compassion and sincerity, even though they were also kind of nervous going in. And yeah, this is definitely an issue because on one hand, we love representation and we definitely need more representation of these groups of people without overstepping or falling into those cliches. But they really did their research, and basically all the reviews I've seen so far have nothing but good things to say, which is great. It also has a lot of comedic moments because of her disorder, not really being able to see social cues. So sometimes she just blurts out random and hilarious things. There were so many moments that really made my heart full, especially seeing her dad's reaction to her and her best friend, as well as the male lead and everyone who just really supports her and respects her. It's so refreshing and well acted. This is a drama that reminds you right away to be kind to others and not to quickly judge. I also enjoyed Kang Ki-young's character here. I adore him as an actor in real life. He's been playing a lot of supporting roles in big dramas for around 14 or 15 years. But finally, there's been so many news articles and threads on Twitter dedicated to him because of this drama. He's quite relatable. He starts off as somebody who is a little bit annoyed by her, but after working with her, he really respects her, and you can tell that he's such a great actor because from episode 1, he really does a 180 where he starts off a little bit annoyed and thinks she's a burden to becoming super proud of her. The male lead is basically the all-rounder. He's the popular guy, very good looking, great at his job. He's kind and friendly. Everybody loves him. And then the female lead is somebody that's completely different, and he truly is so kind. From their first interaction, he's so kind to her. He never cuts her off like everyone else, even though she goes on this side tangent about whales and different things. And literally just in like 2 episodes, you can tell he's completely whipped for her, and I'm so here for it. Such a wholesome, beautiful relationship. There's so much good things to say about this drama, but you have to experience it yourself. I am predicting that this will be a 10 out of 10, so I'm just gonna highball it, and I'll give it 9.5 right now, just so at the end I can see if it's 9.5 or 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10 is for dramas that is not only perfect in my eyes, but also goes above and beyond, making me feel some type of way, whether or not they tackle social issue cases or they write in extra details, making the characters either relatable, interesting, just doing the most and going above and beyond. But yeah, I'm definitely enjoying this one as well as Alchemy of Souls. So once again, definitely watch these 2 dramas. They're both, I think, on Netflix, which is great. Love that Netflix is not only doing horror dramas, etc., but also doing a variety of things. But yeah, that's my thoughts. Let me know your thoughts on the dramas and whether or not you've been watching these 2 dramas. And I'll see you guys in the next video.